Today's episode is brought to you by Wells Financial Legacy. Have you recently been denied credit? Do you know your credit score? And if so, is it above 750? If not, don't worry. Give Wells Financial Legacy a call at 1-800-339-8034 and set up a free confidential consultation with a specialist. Today's show is also brought to you by Organifi, the best tasting green blend on the market. They're cold processed, guys, to retain all of the nutrients. And if you're looking to fill all the nutritional gaps and buffer out that new stress that your body has to deal with on a daily basis, check out Organifi.com. That's Organifi.com and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% on your order. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Carl Phillips.
The sensational sensation, y'all.
Mr. Wesley, if you're nasty.
Yes, sir.
And also Douglas, the hip-hop preacher, is on the line. What's going on, Douglas?
What it do, what it do, what it do.
Man, and we have a special guest, but I'm going to wait to introduce him. I'm going to give him his proper introduction because I want to catch up with the fellas really quick. And you just celebrated a birthday, man. So tell us about it. You know, I know the listeners on the podcast, they didn't get a chance to celebrate it with you like Carl and I did. We were actually at the conference and we surprised you with a cake right as you were getting ready to speak. Were you surprised, or did you know it was coming?
I was surprised.
Did it throw you off? Because I like literally interrupted you right as you were starting your message.
You guys didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I had no way of knowing. I'll be honest, you know, maybe a week before I kind of thought, okay, my birthday is close to the actual event. So maybe we're going to do something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe like afterwards we're going to get together or something, or maybe before, I don't know. But I definitely, when I got up to speak, I didn't think about it because it's kind of like, okay, we on and popping, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we here, so apparently ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, apparently ain't nothing about to happen because I'm about to get up to speak.
Yeah, and for those of you who, when he says we don't normally do this, I don't know that Carl, myself, or E has ever called each other on our birthday and said happy birthday. Like, I don't even know, like, literally one time. I remember it was like 2 weeks after Carl's birthday, somebody was like, yeah, it was on Carl's birthday. I was like, when was Carl's birthday? It was like 2 weeks prior to that. My birthday comes, go, they don't say nothing. We're not really big on birthdays.
Well, let me explain in case somebody get the wrong idea. I am a flamingo, but I kind of like when we go on vacations together. We do conferences, we go out to eat and do stuff. So I'm the kind of person, man. I don't really get into that one day thing. Like, I gotta wait to buy my wife roses on February, or whatever it is, 14th. You know what I'm saying? Or wait for anniversaries or whatever. I try to do stuff throughout the course of the year. And especially, when you talk about September 3rd, like that could fall, that date I could be working or Didi could be working. So I think what we try to do is celebrate each other throughout the course of the year, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. And how old are you now? Are you allowed to say that? Or your celebrity has grown to the point? You know what I'm saying? Has your celebrity grown to the point where now we lying about your age, say you 36? Yeah, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how they do in Hollywood. What's your act? What's your stage age?
Yeah, what can I say this to you? I'm definitely younger than the Eric Thomas on the bio. You know what I'm saying? That dude like 50-something years old. So I'm definitely younger than him. So, it's all good. I think he might be 55, 53 to 55.
Oh,
so
no doubt.
I feel real good. Yeah, I'm a lot younger than the guy on Wikipedia.
You are creeping that nifty 50 though.
Ooh, nifty 50.
Yeah, you getting around that
50.
corner. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Real quick, man, I want to let E vent. We have a Gazelle of the week this week, and I'm talking about that Gazelle. I mean, as a staff, and the Gazelle of the week is the Hyatt valet staff. And I'll let E. For some reason, E got bad luck with valets. I don't know what happened, but I turned around. E looked like he needed to get rebaptized again. I'm like, E, what's going on? E about to choke out the man at the valet. I'm like, E, it's your birthday, bro. Relax. And E, you can take it from here. But what happened at the valet stand, and why are they getting Gazelle of the Week at the Hyatt on Capitol valet staff? Y'all know I'm calling them out. Carl E said we got to start calling them out so they accountable.
But I'll be honest with you guys. I did a phenomenal job. I'm not. I don't think to rebaptize means that you don't hold people accountable. You still got to hold people accountable. And what I attempted to do was, I didn't say anything the first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, the first 15 minutes.
Take it before that, though. Take it before that, when you pulled up.
Yeah. Well, you saying when I pulled up?
Oh, yeah, when we all pulled up. We all had to. So let me set the stage. You can take it to the actual moment we're mad. But let me set the stage. So we pull up, my family. I got a family of 4. Of course, I got Trey and Avery and my wife. And I got 2 heavy suitcases, stroller, all kind of stuff. I pull up, pop the trunk, go around to the back, and I'm unloading, doing all kind of stuff. Candace got Avery. I promise you, there was like 4 or 5 guys lined up. Not one of them said, do you need help? Like none of them. Then finally, I got both of them down out of the truck, grabbed the stroller, propped the stroller up, whole 9. Dude was like, you need some help with that? I was like, bro, I got it out already. Walked to the door. Now, not one person volunteered to open up a door. Like I literally had to jump around the suitcases, open the door for Candace, hold the door open with my foot. There's about 5 people standing right there. So I didn't know anybody else had an experience, Carl. This was like the night we checked in. Yep. And so then it was the day we were leaving. And now this is where E's kind of picking up the story. But I'm talking to Josh, and Josh was like, yo, I had the exact same experience with the valet when we pulled up. So now, anyway, so we go to retrieve our cars because E and I are going to breakfast. But Josh, we had rode with Josh's family the night before, Carl. So we didn't have our car seats, and we needed the car seats because the babies were coming with us to breakfast with E and Didi. So we were waiting on Josh's car to come around so that we can put my car seats, or turn Josh's car into the Tahoe. Mm-hmm. So now, E, okay, now you take it from there.
Like C said, for me, I think one of the things that I've tried to do, and I'm being real, guys, again, when we tease about the being rebaptized, but, for me, it's like, okay, E, for you not to have that same experience, don't make things deeper than what they are. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, if there's a negative experience, I'll try my hardest to, as much as I possibly can, overlook it because it's a single event. You know what I'm saying? And it's not gonna affect me tomorrow or the next day or whatever, so I leave it alone. So as he said, I thought it was kind of, you're talking about a 4-star at least, if not a 5, at least a 4-star. And then I'm thinking, downtown, DC or the Capitol, they have to be used to dealing with customers.
Right, you got dignitaries, you got all kind of people coming in.
They have to be accustomed to it. So one of the things that I noticed was that, the bellmans, the valet, I just noticed that they didn't have a real, service, spirit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna be real, man. I'm so frustrated right now with, just the East Coast region, Midwest, East Coast region, because I'm thinking, why does Southern hospitality have to be secluded to Southern hospitality? Why is it regional? You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why it's regional. I just don't understand why, we're not at a place where we look at what the South is doing and saying, at least as it relates to
Well, you know what?
Care.
Can I give you an answer real quick? Not to cut you off, but can I give you what I think is the answer? Because I went into Walgreens. Remember when you went out to the vegan spot to eat, to get something to eat, and I went to Walgreens real quick, right? So I'm in Walgreens, and I had got a little basket, and I brought it up to the table, and I usually don't have a basket when I go into Walgreens, right? I usually just grab some cough medicine, I'm out. But I put the whole basket on the, up on the counter. And the girl looks at me and she's like, can you take the stuff out of the basket, please? And I was like, dang. I was like, okay, for sure. I didn't know that was the procedure. I thought it ain't really no difference whether you take it off the counter and scan it or out the basket, but cool. So I took the stuff off, but she had a major attitude, and I got in the car, and Didi was like, I told Didi, I'm like, man, they tripping in there. And Didi was like, I wonder how they get away with that. And I looked around, and I was like, yo, it's so densely populated that you're going to get traffic regardless.
Yeah.
See, in the South, it's a lot more spread out. So it might be a CVS, Walgreens, and a Rite Aid all within like a mile and a half, 2 miles of each other, but it's so spread out that you got an option. You're not walking, in your car. It might be a 30-second drive to the other one. Whereas when you're in the East Coast, everything, and we'll let our guests, because we dogging out his side of the country, but everything is so right on top of each other that they probably don't have a traffic flow problem. You're not about to not go there and walk 8 blocks away to another Walgreens. You like, yo, I gotta go. I'm in a hurry, whatever. And so I don't think they have to pride themselves on customer service as much as you do in the South, where there is maybe a few more options and it's more spread out. I don't know. Just a theory I thought of.
Yeah, no question. See, but I'm just saying, like, that's not a good excuse.
Okay.
It's like
All
you're
right,
dealing
well,
with
I tried.
humans.
East Coast, I tried.
No. See, I'm saying that you are correct, but I'm just saying, like, yo, bro, for real. At the end of the day, man, like, this is a business, and these are people, and you have to care about what you're doing. Like, this is your job. This is what you putting your hands on. Like, this represents you as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than how much money you make. It's like, this represents you as a person, and this is an experience, that the individual is getting. So just in short, guys, like, from the bellsman to the valet, from the person that checked me in, like, no one was helpful.
What'd they tell you when you asked for some water?
Listen to me. I literally stayed in a suite, an executive suite. There was no water in the executive suite. There's no excuse for that. Water. Listen to me. I didn't say free water. I'm at the Marriott right now, and in Alabama, and they have I didn't see any complimentary water.
The $5 joint.
But there are two huge waters in here that's for $4. How do you say it, Carl? I can't see it from right now. I think it starts with Dasani.
Dasani, yeah.
Dasani. So, yep, it's termed, but I'm sure that's what it is. Dasani, $4 for this huge thing of water. They didn't have any water. I'm in an executive suite. I've never been in an executive suite. I'm not trying to be big time, but I've never been in an executive suite where you spend that type of money and we don't have water for you. It's just never happened before. So I called and asked the lady, and she told me, oh, we never give out water.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking like I'm stupid, Carl. I'm like, I'm dumb. No, that's not our policy.
What?
I'm like, it's a 4-star restaurant. It's a 4-star hotel. What you mean you don't do water? Free or at least complimentary? Like, come on. Or at least you have to pay for it. Like, I get it. So we got that. So then I called, and my fam came through, Skip, Ebony, and Stinger was with him. He was hungry. He wanted a pizza. Carl, I asked them if they could put pineapple on his pizza. They said they don't do that. So I said to them, well, do you have pineapples? You know what I'm saying? Because maybe I'm dumb. And of course she says, yes, we have pineapples. Mm-hmm. Then I said, well, can you put the pineapples on?
They reserve only for the fruit salad.
And I'm saying, this is unbelievable. So I said, well, can you at least sell me some pineapples on the side? So of course they could sell me some pineapples on the side. So I'm just saying, Carl, like, this is just like, wow. This is the culture. Yeah. This isn't one or two individuals. This is the culture. So then, we leave, and I have to be honest, it may have had something to do with, Didi likes to get to the airport early. We got to be at the airport, a little bit after 1. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to do brunch at, what is it? Poets and what, CJ, what was it? Poets and
Bus Boys and Poets, or
Poets. Yeah, that's it. Bus Boys and Poets.
Shout out to them, man, phenomenal. I went there twice.
I had a phenomenal,
phenomenal
experience.
Y'all, because I just saw it on one of the statements. So I'm like, what the heck is Bus Boys and Poets? I was about to call y'all out. So appreciate y'all.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Exactly.
This conference call fulfills so many. This conference call fulfills so many purposes.
Right.
Shout out CJ to you for coming up with this. See. I was just here in Florence, Alabama, doing a professional development training, and I can't tell you how many people came to me, see, of all nationalities, of all ages, all teachers, of course, and just raved about, the content that they're getting from the podcast. There were 3 ladies who came who were runners, who were like, look, we're not teachers, we don't even work in a school district, but we coming. And they talked about, the TGIMs, the podcast, whatever. So, shout out for that. But so now I'm already frustrated. Ebony and Skip are already there, Stinger there. And so, I decided to go with CJ. We're driving with CJ. Now it takes CJ's car about maybe 10, 15 minutes to come. Josh has the car seats in his car, so we're going to take the car seats, put them in C's car. So we're waiting patiently 10 minutes, 15 minutes, nothing happens. Finally, Josh walks up to him. And I've never seen this, I've never heard this a day in my life, Carl. Josh gets to the valet and they say to him, "We don't have your car."
What?
He said, "What?" They said, No, we don't have your car. And he was like, come on, you don't have my car. Gives the lady a ticket. We don't have your car. So Josh looks inside of where the key display is and finds his keys. Like, those are my keys right there.
Tell me that y'all play.
So
we on Punk'd. This is an episode of Punk'd. Please tell me that y'all play.
So they hadn't even left. They hadn't done anything. They just said we didn't have your car.
Dead serious. And so then Josh says whatever. So they're like, okay, we found it, whatever. So we wait another 5-10 minutes, nothing. So now we have a gentleman who says, I love it. You got to catch this. He says, "Can you move your truck, CJ, because this other car I guess the other car had kind of like, C's car wasn't necessarily in the way, but he had to make a sharp turn, and he ended up getting the valet dude.
He ended up jumping like a little middle part of the curve.
Yeah. So the guy, the boss is pissed because he's like, yo, you can't do that with these people's car. And he's like, well, the car was in the way. It really wasn't. But anyway, so the dude goes off on me and says, "Can you move the car?"
But
and
like aggressive though, Carl, like
yeah,
pissed,
aggressive.
like, yo, y'all making it dangerous. You need to move your car.
Wow.
Like, so
the green started.
Right. And I looked around and E needed to be rebaptized. That's all I know, bro.
Yeah. So all I did, Carl, I didn't yell at him. I just said to him from a distance. I didn't even walk up on him yet, Carl. I said it from a distance.
Keyword yet.
Yep, I didn't walk up on him yet. I said from a distance. I said, "Sir, cause and effect. We wouldn't even be here. We've been here 25 minutes. We wouldn't even be parked here if you guys had done what you were supposed to do. So you didn't know where his car was. And then once you found out you had the car, you have taken 25 minutes of our time up to this point." You understand what I'm saying?
Up to this point, Carl, we almost at a half hour.
Wow.
About 15 minutes since Josh found the keys.
Right. And they still don't have the car. So Josh asked the lady, like, what's going on? And she was like, well, we're busy. So unfortunately, you found your car at our busiest time. So
but she told Josh, look, I'm about to quit anyway.
She needed to be rebaptized.
I'm about to quit.
Yeah, she needed to be rebaptized because she was going through it back then. Like, she was going through it, right? She was just so frustrated because it just wasn't organized. So as I'm speaking to him, he starts talking to his dude like under his breath. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, sir, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is you need to take ownership. Like, you cannot sit here and act like, we're in the way and we're doing something wrong. Now, while I'm talking to him, Carl, I'm not playing. 30 seconds later, a car comes up behind us. So at this point, we couldn't back up if we wanted to. Right. And so Josh's car still's not there. So I said, trying to be nice, Carl, I said, you know what? Let me move the car up, C. C said, don't worry about it. I'll do it, E. C gets in the car and the keys aren't even in the car. Whoever moved the car, Carl, they took the keys to the car.
The valet that walked off, a different valet walked off with my keys in his pocket.
Wow.
So we couldn't have moved it the whole time anyway.
Oh, wow.
So now we're running into 35, 40 minutes and Josh, the manager says, give me I'm gonna go find your car for you. I'll go find it and bring it to you.
And Carl, the funniest part is in between all of this, random people are coming up to E for pictures. Like, excuse me, E.T., can I take a pic? He like, yeah, let's take a pic. And he go in the hip hop preacher mode and come right back to unbaptized E.T.
Yeah, because I gotta let the dude know, Carl. Now, Carl, it's not unbaptized, but it's Carl's like, at some point, you got to take ownership and you have to do something. Like, we sitting here, do something. Now I am a little agitated because Ebony and Skip, they got there on time. They waiting for us, And you know how these restaurants are. If you don't have all your people, it's the holiday, it's their day off. And I'm like, yo, this is unbelievable. And C was like, just leave without us. You know,
I was
and
trying to
then
let
we'll
them leave
come up
in
there.
the Tahoe. I was
yeah,
like,
I'm
look,
like,
we'll
no,
just drive
Carl.
Josh
I'm like,
Carl.
no. I'm like, no. They need to find the car. They need to get the car to us. And so finally, like you said, we came and then whatever. And so what's so funny is now, look, I promise you, I haven't gone into that mode, but I'm getting in the car and I hear somebody say, move your car. It's in the way. And Carl ain't gonna lie. I turned around to look like John Brown High.
Bruce
And when I turn around and look,
all the way it turned up.
when I turn around and look, it's Josh acting silly. He disguised his voice. So I saw Josh. and before I could go there, I was like, oh, that's Josh acting stupid. And got in the car and we had a great meal. So
So we got there in time for evening hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what's crazy though, Carl? Of course, at the end, who had to come? The manager, the whole valet thing came and was like, I'll go get it myself. And it was there probably 3 minutes after he said that. So, we need a little jingle for Gazelle of the Week. Somebody need to make us a little song so we can play it for the Gazelle of the Week. But shout out to the Hyatt on Capitol. We're just going to start calling people out. We're going to do our little civic duty to get the customer service in this world straightened out.
The ETN Better Business Bureau, we in full effect.
Oh, no
now.
doubt. Yeah, we come and try out your services and we tell you whether you suck or not. Shout out to them, man, and but shout out to, let's give a compliment to DC, everybody who came out to the joint, amazing. The energy in the building was just crazy. So now that we've dogged the East Coast, let's bring in our guest, resident Philly financial expert. No, man, I want to bring on this gentleman, man. I've been wanting to get him on the podcast for a long time, a good friend of ours. Of course, those in our community are already familiar with him. But this gentleman, man, is who I call for my financial advice, who, people in our community call, man, always willing to help, jumps on the BU calls from time to time, came out to the boot camp and shut it down just with some amazing information. And he advises some pretty big time clients and what I love about him is he also works with a lot of regular folks and just knows his way around the dollar and knows how to help you grow that portfolio and grow financially. And I wanted to bring him on the podcast, guys, because a lot of the time we talk about businesses, career and family and all of that, but we know finances is a huge thing. And so we wanted to bring somebody on who not only knows, how to make money because he's an entrepreneur, but then also knows what to do with it. And I think a lot of us, we don't actually know what to do with our money. And so, we brought somebody on and hopefully he can give you guys some tips and some tricks and some other things to, start growing, start investing and going to that next level. So without further ado, let's welcome to the podcast, my man, Rob Wilson. Rob, what's going on, bro?
Yes, sir. In the building.
Yes,
what's
sir.
good?
Man, can't call it, man. Great to have you on. How are you feeling? I know you just got back from Cancun, so you and the missus went out there for a little while, and you're back to reality. What's going on?
Hey, you know what? You gotta recharge the batteries every now and then. Especially, look, you guys might need to recharge your batteries now after going through that experience at the valet.
Hey, do you have anything to say for the East Coast?
Represent the
Rob,
East Coast, Rob.
The entire East Coast
I know
is riding on your shoulders
y'all
right now.
just, oh man, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot
You
of
from
pressure.
Philly,
Listen,
where folk ain't playing no games. They
well, see, all right,
definitely.
let me make it clear to everybody. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, you from Pittsburgh? Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So we roll up our sleeves. We blue collar. We're gonna get that work done. It's more of a Midwest feel there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm in Philly now. I live in Philly now. You know what? I tell you, I've had some bad experiences like that too. And part of it is I think people just don't understand where our economy is, right? Like we're mostly a service-based economy now. Mm-hmm. And so you might not feel great about your station where you are today, but I'm of the mindset, and I know you guys are too, the way you do some things is the way you do everything.
Say that.
And so if you don't take that seriously, you're never nobody's going to look at you and say, oh, let me give that person some more experience. Let me promote them. Let me give them a better job. It's never going to happen. So no matter what it is, look, when I was in college, I started out working in the dining service. I'm serving matter of fact, I was in high school. I'm serving the other college students before I get there. I had to mop floors. I had to do dishes, all of those sorts of things. But I did it with such fervor that I wanted to be whatever it was. I wanted to do well, that they eventually made me a student manager and promoted me and so on and so forth. And I was working at Carnegie Mellon. I didn't even go to CMU at that time. I went to Pitt undergrad, but they still made me a student manager. So I just think there is a mindset where people are a little bit frustrated with where they are, but they don't understand that whatever you're doing, if you give it 100%, somebody will see you and you'll be able to make your situation better. So hopefully you guys can wake them up.
Yeah, no, we're
based on that
inspiring
experience.
the world one rant at a time, Rob. So
That's right.
We appreciate that, man. I got so much stuff that I want to ask you, and I know Carl and E probably have questions as well. But I'm going to be selfish and kind of start with my own, family situation. Of course, I got 2 kids now. Wife wants a third. I'm not 100% sure on that. We shall see. But of course, man, already, man, you start to think about stuff like saving for college and, getting your finances in order for, all of those things. We did the life insurance thing, and we got a few things set up. And I want to know, because we have a lot of listeners who have, children and things of that nature. I guess the first thing I want to know from you is what should we be doing for those of us who have young kids, say under 10? In college, you just hear about it these days, and the cost of college is just insane. And, you don't want your kid to, graduate with, $300,000, $400,000 in debt.
Right.
You want to be able to, set them up. And so what should we be doing, Rob? Like, other than just being fiscally responsible, like, what should we be doing for our kids right now to get ourselves ready for, especially Carl and I. He is on the way out the door. He's on the other end. But what should we be doing as it relates to, saving for college right now?
So I'm going to be a little bit unconventional, and I want to say that particularly, if you've got 7, 8, 9, 10 years before your kids are going to college, I want you to think a little bit differently about what you want to accomplish by them going to college. And here's what I mean. So our parents, our grandparents, they told us what the formula to success was. And it was, get good grades and do your homework so you can go to a good college, and you go to a good college so you can get a good job. Well, that formula isn't necessarily working out for everyone. The way to success today isn't exactly the same way it worked for our grandparents and for our parents, right? And so God bless them. They told us all they knew, right? That was how their experience was. But for today, I think what they really meant to say is, instead of go to college, what they really meant to say is you need to go out and you need to learn something of value that you can use and monetize in the economy. And so when we get to 5, 7, 8, 10 years from now, when college tuitions have probably doubled from where they are now, and they're already expensive, I don't know necessarily that we need to always go to a 4-year college in order to be successful, particularly when it's that expensive. Now, let me give a caveat. I'm sure I don't want to go to a doctor who learned how to be a doctor on YouTube. I get that, right? But there are a lot of skills and expertise that you can gain online or through other methods that are largely for free or very inexpensive. And so I would just suggest, that you think a little bit differently about what you want your children to do, what you want them to be, or what they ultimately, want to be, and think if there's a more efficient way to do that than just what's been beat into our heads, go to a 4-year college. Now, having said that, if you still want to do that, which is great, we all went to college and we understand the value of that. A lot of people will throw around the 529 plan. Should you be contributing to that? I don't necessarily love that, because you're locked in. You have to use those funds for education. If you don't, and you want to take it out, it's taxed and it's penalized. Now, you can change the beneficiary if you have another kid or a niece or nephew or something like that. You can always change the beneficiary. But I don't like being locked in like that. So I would do something. If you make under a certain amount, you can do a Roth IRA, which you can also use those funds for college if you choose to do that. or honestly, I would just probably save in a taxable account. Whereas you could use those funds for whatever you want to do with them, for your own retirement, for some other goals, or for your kids' education. So the bottom line is there are a couple of different account type of options, but without a doubt, you need to be putting some money away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask, there's obviously several different ways that you can put away money. And that's what I think one of the hardest things to know is like, where should you be investing your money, right? People say, oh, you should be in the stock market. And then people say, no, you should never be in the stock market. And there's all this conflicting reports. What are your thoughts on the stock market? And then when you go into the stock market and you have a portfolio, should we be doing it ourselves? Like, I know they got these, now these online programs, E-Trade and stuff like that. And I got friends who jump on E-Trade and look at their stocks every single day and buy and sell. And they tell me how easy it is. I'll be honest, it freaks me out because I'm like, there's no way I'm trying to be managing my money online, playing with stocks like video games. I don't even know what this stuff means. But I do have friends who manage their own stuff. For full transparency, my wife and I went through a company that was referred to us. And so we have a small portfolio now with them, and they manage that portfolio going forward. And that's kind of how we chose to do it. But what do you recommend for people who are saying, okay, we're setting our, life. We have, a few grand every month maybe that we're looking to invest or put up or, whatever. How do you know where to put the money? What's going to be, obviously the most rewarding in terms of what you're getting back, but then also the safest place, because we don't want to turn around and the economy collapse. And then when we need it, it's all gone. So what do you say to people who are looking to, make that first step into that, investing arena?
So the very first thing that I would say is that if you've got a ton of debt, and particularly high interest debt, then I wouldn't really focus on investing right away. Unless you work for a job, you have a 401k, they match you, please go ahead and do that, because whatever they match, you're basically making 100% on your money. So definitely do that. Outside of that, if you've got a lot of debt, student debt, credit cards, all of those sorts of things, anything other than a mortgage, I would focus on paying that down first, because whatever interest rate you're paying, let's say you have a credit card and you're paying 18%. Well, if you aggressively try to pay that down, you could almost think of that as investing your money and getting an 18% return, because you're paying that debt. So the very first thing is, you got debt. Let's not focus on investing right now. Let's aggressively try to get that down. Now, if your debt is low, you want to start putting some money away, I think you absolutely have to be in the stock market. And here's why. So there's a rule, there's something called the rule of 72. And so if you take 72 and you divide it by the rate of return that you can get every single year on average on your investment, that tells you about how long it's going to take your money to double. Okay. So you can take 72 divided by 1. And it's probably less than 1, but for easy math's sake, let's say 72 divided by 1, which is like in a checking or savings account. Mm-hmm. You're going to get maybe 1%, but probably less a year, on an annual basis. It's going to take you 72 years for your money to double. Or you could do something like 72 divided by 10, which is what you get in the stock market over long periods of time. Then it'll take you roughly 7 years for your money to double. And so I give people that example all the time and ask them, you tell me where your money should be. You want to wait 72 years, or you want to try to, double your money in 7 years. So you have to take on some amount of risk in order to get some return and really make your money grow. But the key is being disciplined about it, because where you've seen people lose their shirt in the stock market, whether it be .com bubble, real estate bubble, financial crisis, whatever, is that they start putting money in and they don't pay any attention to it until the red lights start flashing. And at that point, it's emotional. You don't know whether you should sell. Should you hold on? Is it going to come back? Now, you've got to set your discipline right up front when you buy something and you say, if it gets to this point, I'm out. I'm going to sell. Because you can always buy something back again, but you can't recover from going down 50, 60, 70%. That's very difficult to come back from. So I definitely think that you need to be invested in the stock market. And your other question was where? So here's the deal. There are tons of online brokers out there. It's very inexpensive to trade. It's about $5 a trade at Fidelity, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, all of those guys. What I would say is if you're going to take it seriously and you're going to put the work in, by all means, go ahead, open an account, do the research, do your homework, and get your investing on, right? But if you're not going to do the work, if that's just not your thing, or you're too busy being great at what it is that you do to spend all of your time on that, then it's probably a good idea to hire a professional.
Yeah, no, 100%. And talk to us really quick about, I guess percentage that we should be risking, right? In terms of, you got your whole income. What percentage of our income should we be putting into the stock market? Because you want to, like I said, you want to get enough in there and enough, to where it can make, you a significant return. But, you also don't want to jeopardize your family or put your family at risk and, those type of things. So what do you tell your clients in terms of how much, what percentage? Obviously, it changed for different for everybody. Somebody making $500,000 would be different than somebody making $75,000. But what percentage of that income should we be investing into the stock market?
So, I'm gonna throw one of your terms back at you.
Grown man gifts?
Say, not that one. Not that one. A different one.
You know what I'm saying?
Not that one.
Not
that one.
I'm going to throw something back at you, and I'm going to say the way that you do this is you have to reverse engineer. Okay. So a lot of people say, okay, here I got, what should I be putting in the market? And what I tell people is I don't know. But what you have to do is tell me what type of life you want to live.
Baller.
Because okay, so if somebody wants to live a baller life versus somebody that says I just want to be comfortable, which I kind of cringe when people say I just want to be comfortable. But if somebody wants to be a baller,
why do you cringe when somebody says that, Rob?
Because why? What's comfortable? Why is that all you want? Why can't you think bigger? So there are folks that say they go being a millionaire is cool, but I don't necessarily need that. Well, but it's likely that you probably never will be then.
Hey, keep that thought. I'm gonna come there when you get done with CJ's question. So just keep that thought. I'm coming back to that.
Yeah. So real quick, so you have to reverse engineer. You have to start at the end and say, this is how I want to live. This is the type of city that I want to live. This is how much it costs to live there. This is the type of house that I want. Car. This is what I want to be able to do for my family. Pay for all of my kids' education. Once you know what and you accept and do not apologize for everything that it is that you truly want, then you reverse engineer from there, and that's how you back into how much you need to be saving or how much you need to be investing or whether you need to go get a new job because the job that you're at right now is never going to pay you enough to reach that type of life. So I think everybody, to answer your question, the biggest thing people need to do is to get absolutely honest with themselves about what type of life that they want to live and when they want to be able to live it. And then we can reverse engineer and figure out what we need to do to get from A to B.
Got you.
All right. So check this out, Robin. BU people, forgive me because we did this on the BU call, but you started the BU call with a statement that addresses that. And I'm telling you, everybody needs to hear this statement. You should be in BU. You would have gotten it about a couple of weeks ago, and you could have already been on it. But you're not in BU, so you're missing out. So if you're not intentionally trying to, I'm gonna start it, you finish it. If you're not intentionally trying, go there for me.
If you're not trying to get intentionally wealthy, then you'll likely end up accidentally poor.
I like that.
And this is
I've been accidentally poor a lot in my life. Right after college, I promise you, I was not planning on that. It just kind of fell upon me, poverty.
And me too.
Yeah,
me and you both. And you know what? Through no fault of your own, you didn't mean for it to happen that way. I didn't mean for it to happen that way, but I wasn't intentional about it being the opposite way, right? And this, what I also said on the call was, if you don't believe that that's right, let's replace it and let's see if it still works. Because if you're talking about your health, well, if you're not trying to get intentionally healthy, then you'll likely end up accidentally sick. I mean, you didn't mean for that to happen, but you also didn't eat right. You also didn't, go work out. You also didn't go to the doctor. You didn't take the medicine that they told you to take. So you didn't mean to get sick, but you weren't intentional about really cultivating your health. Let's one more. If you're not intentionally trying to have a great marriage or relationship, then you'll likely
You're accidentally
accidentally
divorced.
end up divorced. You know what I mean? You didn't mean for that to happen. But did you intentionally cultivate your relationship and do the things that you needed to do?
Yeah, no, and I think,
to
Rob,
protect it?
as you're talking, you're right. But I think, with humans, I think sometimes it's, it can be stressful, right? Like finances is like, a big deal. Like, we talk about, health and marriage and, finance. I mean, finances is right up there. And a lot of people stress about finances. And, to be honest, sometimes it's like, you don't even want to think about it, right? Like you get to a point where you're like, man, I don't even want to go digging into my accounts and, trying to create a budget and all of those things because, man, I'm afraid I've had, have to look at some numbers I don't want to look at, and you kind of just live and you spend and you kind of hope everything, maintains. But why is it, so critical to be intentional regardless of, where you may deem yourself to be at, whether you're in trouble, whether you're, doing really well, like, talk to us about some of those things we should be doing on a daily, a weekly basis, a monthly basis to make sure that something that's this important, right? There's not a person in this world, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett down to, somebody, asking for change on the side of the street. Money is a part of our every single day lives. And it's that important, yet many of us just neglect it and, choose to kind of just hope it finds its way towards success. But talk to us about what we should be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to make sure that we're straight.
Oh, bruh, this is a great question because you know what? So my wife gets on me all the time because I don't particularly like going to the doctor, right? You don't want to go to the doctor.
They might tell you to bend it on over.
Hey, bruh, you don't want to see that guy putting a rubber glove on, man.
Nope, no sir.
You don't want that.
I'll do my own exam.
So I don't particularly like going to the doctor, but here's what she said. By not going and ignoring the problem isn't going to keep any problems away. So, and the worst part about that is if you do have a condition, there's nothing that you can do about it if you don't know it exists.
Yeah.
So same thing with your money, guys. Look, by ignoring it, that's not going to make more money appear in your bank account. It's not going to stop the late charges from happening. It's not going to stop the debt from piling up. So it's something that you just have to face. But look, most people don't want to really think about it because they didn't grow up talking about this stuff at the dinner table. And it's not an easy thing to talk about with your friends. It's this sort of taboo topic where people don't want to talk about it. But look, I think, money is probably one of the, top 2 or 3 most important things in your life. And so you have to be intentional about it. And the example that I used on the call is like, look, there were a lot of people having a great time living in Houston, going about their lives. Right. Everything was great. Yep. And then all of a sudden there's 8 feet of water in their house. And they're on a roof, waving a towel. And so sort of natural disasters and catastrophes can happen like that at any time. Similarly, those sorts of things can happen in our financial life. So I'm of the mindset that you need to at least be spending 30 minutes a week on your money. So going through your accounts, checking those balances, making sure that there's no charges on there that don't need to be on there.
And I think that's the major one too,
like
Rob, because man, I promise you, sometimes you sit back, I don't know if y'all like me, but you're like, where is my money going? Yeah. Lord have mercy. And you got so many, and now, like back in the day, it's like, I remember my mom used to have to balance her checkbook and like you would like physically write a check each time, right? Because you didn't have direct deposit and all of these other, things where they just take it straight out of your account. And you go and you look and you got about, 40 things that's pulling $10 a month out of, you got Netflix, you got, some online subscription account, to a magazine and, just like these little things that pile up. I'll be honest, Rob, I felt bad. I had, when Trey was born, we had gone on this care.com site, right? And it was like, one of those where like the first week was free and then after that they charge you or whatever. And I'll be honest, I had my card information on there and it said right there, plain as day, once after this week, if you don't stop it, you'll be charged or whatever. And I think it was like $20 a month or something like that. And, we were looking for a nanny or whatever. And so first week goes by, I be honest, we looked at a couple nannies and had a couple profiles, interviewed a couple people. Long story short, Trey was about 2.
Wow.
And I looked at my account and I was like,
Still
what is this 20?
coming out.
It was like under a different name. I had been paying this thing almost 2 years and hadn't even logged on since Candace was probably 6 months pregnant. And I was like, wow, I just got beat because I wasn't paying attention. And so now I try to be way more focused on, okay, even though you got all these automatic drafts set up, you know, nowadays with your credit card information, your debit card information being out there and you getting, you know, signing up for accounts and like I said, Netflix accounts, and you got all kind of accounts, your money, we really could be losing quite a bit of money and not even know it.
You really could. And I know, see, it must be nice to have so much money in the bank that you don't have to really pay attention to those auto drafts, right?
Well,
it
I
must
didn't
be
say
nice.
that. I just
Tell
said
me
it was
about
20.
Tell me
so
about it,
they
man.
snuck me. I thought, you know what I mean? I didn't know if it was that or my tie.
I like how you
so
snuck
I-
that in there, Rob. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hey.
No, but here's one thing that you can do to combat that is I think a lot of people like to have everything going into just one account. You're doing everything. You're paying bills, you're spending, you're investing, everything's in one account. I like to separate my accounts out so that it's a lot easier for me to manage and see what's going on. So maybe you want to have one separate account. Definitely you want to have one account just for your bills, right? Recurring bills, cell phone, mortgage, car payment, insurance, those sorts of things. You want to have a separate account for that. But maybe you want to have a separate account for those sort of annoying recurring bills that you might forget about and they're still going to keep charging. You could even do that on like a prepaid debit card where you have to be intentional about saying, okay, I'm going to put some money on there so that the recurring draft keeps coming. But if you do forget about it, it's not going to kill your bank account. So biggest tip that I could give there is to separate your accounts. Have an account that I call your expense account where you're going to go get gas, go out to eat, do those sorts of things, but have a completely separate account that's handling your bills and other recurring stuff. And a good app to use to track all of this stuff is Mint. So I'd encourage people to go download. The app is called Mint. The website is mint.com. You can link up all of your financial accounts, bank, savings, investment, 401k, everything all in one place. That way you got some little extra time waiting for the plane or train or whatever. You can pull up your app real quick. You can see really quickly at a glance where you stand. So, and it'll alert you if you start getting too out of whack or a transaction comes through that doesn't seem normal. So that is a fantastic tool to really get on top of your finances.
Hey, so
Absolutely.
real quick, so I wanted, I think I know where you're going. So let me let you go first, because we just dealt with the mindset, Rob. So I'll let I know about to do something. Then when I come back, Rob, I want you to talk to me about the path. Like you started giving some practical tips just now. I want to know, like, okay, I'm a student, I'm just coming out of school, or, whatever. I got a regular job. Like let's talk a couple more practical tips that, we can start implementing like today. But my bad, go for it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say this segment is brought to you by Wells Financial Legacy. You guys heard Carl talking about it in the opening intro, man, and we want to shout out to them again, and very apropos that they're our sponsor today, Rob, because they're talking about basically how you can basically get your credit fixed, right? Like, and Rob, obviously, money is important, but credit is also important. And think about this, you can walk into a dealership, and they treat you one or two ways based solely on your credit score, right? Like they're going to tell you either you can get this car and you can drive off the lot today for a 2.9, or they're going to haggle you to death and charge you 18%, and you're going to end up paying 10 times what the car's worth. And all of that depends on our credit score. And I really wanted to talk to you about credit as well. But Wells Financial Legacy is doing a tremendous job. We've gotten testimonials back from our listeners from the first time they sponsored our podcast who are saying, yo, my credit score jumped 80, 90 points immediately just off a few things, man. They really work to get that credit score up. So call them today. Schedule a personal appointment, man. You're going to talk to somebody directly, and they're going to help you get that credit score up, which is going to be huge for you. And you can reach them at 1-800-339-8034. Again, that's Wells Financial Legacy, 1-800-339-8034. So, Carl, go for it. Sorry about that.
No, I figured that you were going to tie it in there. I felt the transition, but I had already started talking, so I couldn't pull it back. But
it's all good.
Yeah, no, Rob. So, talk to me about that. Those practical things now. And I'll give you one example that I came across. I ain't no expert, y'all, but literally, I went the other way, Rob. The companies that I do have, the Comcast, whoever, the AT&Ts, like I call them every couple of months and try to find out what promotions do you have. And some months it's nothing, you know what I mean? Some months it's like, oh, nothing, I got none for you. But there's some months, like literally, maybe 2 months ago, I called Comcast, and they literally had a promotion that gave me like a $40 reduction per month in my bill. You see what I'm saying? So there's literally, I just called him and was like, man, I'm just looking around, like anything you got going on, like I'm just kind of looking to see, what's happening with my bill, I just asked a couple of questions, and he was like, well, we got this promotion now. And see, it was hilarious because I never did a home phone. I'm like, my wife and I, we on the move too much. We never did the home phone. We didn't have the kids, until now. So it wasn't that important. So now AT&T's like, oh, well, not AT&T, sorry. Comcast was like, yo, add the home phone and still save $30-$40 a month. I'm like, well, that's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that worked for me. Another real simple one, Rob, and I really want to go into this since he brought up the credit cards. If you were disciplined, keyword disciplined, really disciplined, paying with the credit card, paying the bills with the credit card and getting the cash back, the points and that kind of stuff that you can use. So those, like I said, two things that I've kind of researched and learned on my own. But I know you in that field, Rob. Give us those practical things. I'm a student. I'm a regular dude working at a gas station, just trying to figure out how to get my way through this thing. What are some of those like 1, 2, 3 steps that I can start implementing today?
Yeah, I think those tips are great, particularly with the cable. Actually, we started using PlayStation View, which is one of those internet only sort of cable situations where you get a certain number of channels. Because I kept opening that bill and it was just, I was getting depressed, man, over that cable bill, bro. And so
and they sneak it up on you because they hit you as like 44 cents for the first 9 months, and after that it's like $800 a month.
Yeah.
You're like, what in the devil? You're like, Lord. And of course, you don't catch it till the 9th month. You're like, whoa.
Exactly. So I like those internet services. This is not an advertisement or anything, but PlayStation View is $40 a month. I get pretty much the channels that I need. So that works out well. But here's one more thing that I'm gonna say that's a little bit unconventional, is that if cutting your spending and things like that is going to help you if you're in a real jam. And I get that. And that's what you hear a lot of financial advisors talking about. Eat lunch at your desk. Don't go out to a restaurant, so on and so forth. But look, you guys know, 80-20 rule, right? So 20% of the stuff that you do is going to give you 80% of the results. And it's the same thing with your finances. So I kind of feel like I'm not the guy that tells you to cut every ounce of enjoyment out of your life, right? By cutting on, because look, there's only so much that you can cut from your spending. There's a limit to that. But I'm of the belief that if people really focus on living up to their potential, then they'll never have to worry about living within their means. And so if I was to differentiate myself from the other, your Dave Ramsey's, your Susie Orman's, your other financial personalities out there, I'm definitely the make more money guy. So again, I would rather people put in a really intense focus on maximizing their income, that side of the statement, versus just cutting every single thing out because there's a limit to it. So again, if you're not in a job that isn't going to pay you the amount that's going to allow you to live the life that you want to live, you either got to go find a new job in that industry, you got to go to a new industry, or you got to start your own business. And first of all, everybody should have multiple streams of income. But if you're in that situation, then you got to go start your own business so that you can really get paid what you're worth. So, Carl, those are great tips, and I hope people do that. I pay everything that I possibly can on my Amex, so I get those points. But what I would really want to leave the listeners with, because this is the Secret to Success podcast, is that you will get much more from your efforts if you put a just unbelievably intense focus on maximizing your income. That's really going to take your life to the next level.
Okay, this one is, believe it, like not about me. Okay, it's not about me, but let's just say hypothetically.
Here we go.
Hypothetically, your wife has an Amazon Prime addiction. Oh, what do you recommend? You know what I'm saying? What do you recommend for somebody who got packages showing up at the door every day? Hypothetically, just say somebody out there in listener land is married to someone who ODs on Amazon Prime. Any advice?
Change the password. that might be your best bet. Change the password.
Immediate fix.
Say you got hacked. Just say you got hacked,
teasing,
man.
But I actually like what you said, because we do have to enjoy life while we're here as well. You hear a lot of people talking about retirement and that, and all of that stuff is super important. But we're also living right now, and you want to provide those things for your family, and you want to take vacations, and you want to do all of those things. And so I want to kind of talk to, what do you say, Rob, I guess, to the person who's depressed because they don't make enough money, or they let's say they of course are trying to make more, but more money, and this may be it's not contradicting what you said, but more money doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to have money problems. And so talk to us about the person who's having money problems, because you've seen it from the highest of levels to somebody who maybe signed a $50 million contract and yet still 5 years from then has money problems. And you've probably seen it from the young woman or the young man who's making $50,000 and they have money problems. But then you also, I can think of somebody in particular, Carl, and I won't say his name, but you can probably think of it off the initials, TD, who, remember, he just, like, with the coupons, that, like, my man, just financial stuff was tight. Like, he never had a money problem because he knew exactly what he was doing. And so how can we become more educated so that we don't have these money problems? Because I'll be real, you think once you get to a certain dollar amount, if I could just get to $100,000, then I'll never have another worry in my life. As soon as I make six figures, I got all the money in the world and I never have to worry about it. But that's not the case. So how do we become more educated about money and just better ourselves in general? Because more money doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to have those money problems or money stressors.
Oh, it doesn't mean that at all. So, I've been blessed to work with some pro athletes, some entertainers, have a lot of zeros on those checks that they would deposit. But look, we said this earlier, how you do some things is how you do everything. And so if you can't manage a $30,000 salary, you can't manage a $300,000 salary or a $3 million salary. So it's unfortunate because, look, I've worked with guys who were 19, 20, 21 years old. They get drafted into the league. They had never even written a check before in their life. And then they have a $2 million signing bonus in their account. What do you think is going to happen to that? And it's actually somewhat... it's actually somewhat criminal that the teams, the leagues, don't do more. They do a little bit, but not enough in terms of trying to educate these teenagers who now suddenly have millions of dollars. But it's the same thing. Remember when I graduated from college and my first salary was $50,000, I said, what am I going to do with all this money? When I was making $7 an hour, what am I going to do with all this? But you know what I promptly went and did was went out and bought a bigger car and started going out to nicer restaurants. And so I raised my living standard up to my salary. And so the net result was the same.
Right. Exactly.
So the overall point is that you have to take this stuff seriously. And look, there's never been more information out there in the history of the planet. So it's not a lack of information that people can say, oh, I just didn't know, or I didn't know where to find it. The information is out there. But if you need some discipline, and this is really what it comes down to, guys, is discipline. Look, I'm not a health expert, and I know that I need somebody to probably help me keep me disciplined. So when I was trying to get in shape for the wedding, I hired a personal trainer. Let me go work with somebody who knows what they're doing so they can cut through all the BS. I don't need to look to the end of the internet trying to find this information on what I should be doing. Tell me what I need to do and make sure I do it. Be waiting there for me at the gym at 6 a.m. so that you know that I get there, and help me through the process. And so some people can do it on their own, but a lot of us need some help, some external accountability. So I would say take it seriously. Read some magazines, newspapers, watch the financial news, those sorts of things, so that you know what's going on around you. And if you absolutely need it, then go get somebody to help, because it's difficult to do everything by yourself.
Yeah, Rob, I wanted to ask you a quick question though, man. And I get it. Trust me, I feel like the discipline piece for me comes in though when I'm educated, and when I say educated, meaning that I know what I can handle and what I can't handle, but I don't see myself getting a, health coach until I'm at least at a point where I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I value health, and there's some goals, health goals that I have. And so I'm calling this person like to kind of take me over the top, if that makes sense. I don't see the person who doesn't see the importance of losing weight or, understanding the importance of, health, getting a coach. To me, the coach comes kind of like after you've had this aha moment, And so I want to ask you something that's been bothering me a lot, And so I figure since we're talking about finances and finances affects people a lot, maybe you can address it. But a thing that I'm really struggling with, man, are these generational barriers, And I don't care what it is, Rob. When you talk finances and you talked about making more money, the challenge that I have growing up in Detroit is that it is a, auto industry kind of city. So when you talk more money, you're talking more hours. We're talking content, Rob. You know what I'm saying? We're talking content. We're talking, find a particular gift and be able to utilize, that service. But when I hear my people in Detroit talk, man, I'm gonna blow up. They're talking about working 3 jobs, Rob. They're talking putting in 60 hours a week. And that's not what you're talking about when you say, wealth. Then when I think about health and I think about, people, and their diets, it's like people like, just like the automotive industry, that's what they grew up seeing. People's health is like, well, my grandma grew up eating hog mogs, so I'm gonna eat hog mogs, and I'm just seeing like this whole, nobody in my family went to college, so I'm not gonna go to, like for real, bro, I'm starting to see it and it's really starting to bother me that you have a generation of individuals who are trying to get to another level by doing what has always been done. You know what I'm saying? And like holding these values that they grew up like to their heart, and not really realizing like, yo, bruh, you can't get to the next level either with the information your people had or doing it just like they were doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how close you are to it. So from a financial standpoint, because I heard Carl talk about the mindset and you guys kind of touch and go, but like, yo, how do you tell somebody who grew up broke, who grew up in poverty, how do you get them to understand money in a way that, for real, they just never grew up understanding it? Like, how do we get this to the 80-20? 80-20 is powerful. I'm listening to you and like, yo, he telling the truth. Like, I've been sitting here just listening the whole time like, yo, that's the truth. But I think I have evolved and come out of my mama's, way of looking at money. My grandmama's, my father, like I've come out of that way. How do we shake them up, Rob, and get people to understand how critical money is and wealth and taking care of what you have?
This is such an important question, and we ain't gonna let the cat out of the bag just yet, but okay. you and I collaborating on something where we're gonna try to address that. But here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think it comes down to exposure, right? Again, I didn't grow up talking about this stuff at the dinner table, but then slowly, in my network, when I went to school, I got around some folks who had a little bit different upbringing. And so the conversation at lunch was a little bit different. And so I started getting exposed, to different things. And so the problem with a lot of the kids that you're talking about is that the majority of the images of success that they have seen are athletes and entertainers. And so, but the problem comes in if you can't rap, act, sing, dance, or do something with a ball, then you don't even know what the other opportunities out there are for you. But I can guarantee you this, there's a whole generation of people who now want to be motivational speakers, coaches. They want to have their own business because they've seen you. They've seen E.T. Throughout his whole progression. And now they're like, you know what? That's something that I want to pursue. I want to do that. And I see somebody that looks like me, sounds like me, came from where I come from, and they've been successful at it. So that gives me hope. that I can do it. And so I think if we start to expose them to the largely unseen, look, these people are out there who have been successful outside of those areas, but we don't, that doesn't get talked about in the media. You don't see them in the newspaper or on magazines very much. So if we can show the examples and say, this is somebody that looks like you that has incredible health, and this is how they did it. This is like somebody like you that is now the CEO of a major company, so on and so forth, a highly paid engineer, whatever that might be. But we have to show, in my opinion, show those examples, or they just, they won't feel like those things are available to them.
It's just frustrating, man. Like, for real, man. I'm just being real. Like I said, I'm sitting here listening, and I got a couple questions. Of course, I'm on a different, I'm older. I'm almost 50, so.
I thought you were saying you're on a different financial playing field.
That too.
And just make us all feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm on a different level than y'all.
Yeah.
I got a private vegan chef.
I'm just saying I'm in a different, place, man. When you get my age, I say it all the time. You either here or you're not. You know what I'm saying? And when you're almost 50, it's just a sense of urgency that you're operating with that you don't have to operate in your 30s. And maybe not, some people, Rob, not even, in their early 40s, they're not operating from this sense of urgency, but it's like your grandkids are right above, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be in the next year or 2 years, I could be a grandfather. So, when you're younger, you talk legacy. You know what I'm saying? You talk legacy, but it's still really theory. It's not theory for me. You know what I'm saying? At any moment, I could have, that second generation and be, a legacy. So I'm not in a position where I can still kind of play with my money or play with this idea of, whatever. My kids are out of school. My daughter's almost, she's only 80 credits away from graduating from college. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in a different place, but I just know that there's so many people who are tired of losing, who are tired of not experiencing the American dream, and they really don't get, that it's an ideal way. But at the same time, Rob, what bothers me is like, you can't get to that next level because as much as you say you want to get there, you still holding on to all your mama's values, all your daddy's values. You know what I'm saying? And so with your mouth, you saying, I'm ready to go to the next level. But like you said, in terms of exposure, everything you doing is what your parents did. And so you can't expect to have different results if you're doing what they did.
Yeah.
And
I
let's just
think
be
the
real.
danger is that things are changing so much.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they closed the Macy's by y'all.
Yeah.
So retail ain't even what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like the industries and the things have changed so much. And you're so right. The general, where were we at? Yes, did you say that yesterday, E? That was deep. I didn't even think about that. When you said like a lot of stuff when you were talking about health, and you were like, they say a lot of stuff is genetic. And you like, it may or may not be, but you eating the same things they ate. So it might not even be that it's genetic, but y'all got the same diet. You know what I'm saying? So if your dad had heart disease, doggone it, and you been growing up with the exact same diet your dad had, and you got heart disease, is it genetic or both of y'all was eating pig's feet? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there is, there is that as well. Ian, you made a great point. I promise you. I think that was that yesterday you said that? And I was like, wow, I didn't
that was yesterday. Yeah. And I'm just saying, Rob, and if you knew that, it's all, I always think, Rob, not to get too deep, but just even environmental, when you talk about exposure, like I probably will never do no real homework on it, but my wife got MS, but her best friend, who was her roommate in college, got it. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And I'm thinking like, man, y'all was in the same dorm room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be funny, but this was an older campus. You know what I'm saying? So some of it ain't just diet. Some of it is, environmental. But when you know that, Rob, I bet you if I sent my granddaughter to, the university went to, I bet she wouldn't be staying in them same rooms. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, I would have her, in a newly built apartment or something. And so I'm just saying, I think, Rob, a lot of people think that it's this big, these big ideas and these big things you have to do and these conferences and these books, where it's like, I'm definitely at a place financially that I never thought I would be at, and it didn't take a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't spend a lot of money. I didn't do the stock exchange. I didn't invest no money. I did exactly what, now Rob is going to help you once you get money, but exactly what he's saying, that's what I did to blow up. I used my voice. I found out that I could speak, and I use speaking, you know, to make money. And so I didn't necessarily do 3 jobs, or I didn't, you know, invest in some oil that blew up. Like, I usually use myself based on the stuff you say, 80-20. I found out what I had a gift in, and I spent a majority of the time speaking, not, you know, cooking, not auto mechanic, you know what I'm saying, not engineer. I found out what I had. So what he's telling y'all, you have to listen to it, and not just with, that's deep. But you literally have to get off this call and say, there were 3 things he said that I know I can start doing right now. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're gonna wake up and be like, whoa, I'm so glad I started 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and wish I would have started 12, 13 years ago.
And you're gonna wish you would have started taking Organifi, I mean, at least 3 weeks ago when I first mentioned it. All right, this segment is brought to you by Organifi. So here's the deal, right? To thrive in all areas of life, of course, you guys know you need good health, right? And to have good health, you need good energy, all of those things, man. And we've been telling you guys about Organifi for a minute. Shout out to the gentleman who came up to me at the conference and showed me his pack of Organifi. He said, yo, see, I'm on it. It's great. I use it every single day. It's helping me tremendously. I feel like my energy's up. He said he cut down on his coffee. He's not drinking coffee anymore, and just rolling with the Organifi. And listen, the best thing about the Organifi is it actually tastes good. And for all our listeners, we have a special deal so that you can try it yourself. Use the code SUCCESS at www.organifi.com to receive 20% off your order. Again, Organifi.com, spelled ORGANIFI. Use the promo code SUCCESS and receive 20% off. You got to try it. Rob, if you haven't tried it, please pick up some Organifi. I promise you, man, it will make dealing with these athletes who blowing their money and make dealing with them a lot less stressful because you have a lot more energy around it. But now, man, I've been waiting for this moment. Yeah, right.
And it's
yeah,
green,
no doubt.
right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's green.
Yeah.
So you just
all green, all organic.
Yeah.
No, nothing in it, man.
Money
and we're
green.
all trying to get healthier. We all want more energy. We all want to feel better, man. And this Organifi is the truth, man. I stand by it. I love it. I literally use it every single day, no lie. And you guys go check it out. And while you're checking it out, use our code SUCCESS and get 20% off. All right, listen, I've been excited to bring this to the table. And the announcement is here. Something that we have been talking about for a while. We wanted to wait till we got Rob on here. But we are doing something that's never been done by us before, and we're super excited for all of you out there to be able to join us in this. I briefly, lightly mentioned it in the VIP session in DC, but other than that, we haven't really told anybody. I think we put up a couple of teasers on social media this week, but we have 100 Days with ET challenge that we are beginning September 16th. Now, why September 16th? September 16th is exactly 100 days to Christmas Day, all right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this 100-day challenge with ET, and every single day for 100 days, we are going to challenge ourselves to meet a particular goal. And on Christmas morning, on the 100th day, when we wake up, that is our Christmas gifts to ourselves, our family, our friends, or whoever. And so whatever your goal is, right? There's gonna be some of us who have fitness goals, right? And we're gonna have fitness experts there to help you with that. We'll tell you who that is next week, right? We're gonna have, some of you have financial goals, right? And Rob is going to be here with you. I'm gonna let Rob talk about what he's excited about during this 100-day challenge. Some of you have marriage goals that ET is going to be personally helping out with these marriage goals. Some of you have focus goals, right? Something you want to focus on. Some of you want to quit smoking cigarettes. Some people want to quit drinking. 100 days. This is going to be unlike anything that we've ever done. It is a 100-day challenge sponsored by Breathe You. And listen, man, we are going in. Whatever your goal is, we're going to, for 100 days, create the habit, break the habit. We're going to reach that financial milestone. We are going to go to the next level in our health, whether it be, I have an idea. I'm not going to let the guys say what theirs is until next week. Next week will be the last podcast before we start the challenge on September 16th. But I am super pumped about this because for the first time ever, we're getting our entire community excited and signed up for this 100-day challenge, and we are bringing you the experts to help you go to that next level. Rob, you brought this idea to me, and you said, yo, we got to do it. You know, there's a ton of people out there who need this information, who need the accountability. Talk to us about, obviously, you're going to be heading up the financial part of that. You're going to be hosting calls on a weekly basis, answering people's questions about money, about investing, like your direct questions, guys. This is not theory. This is not like on the podcast where I have to ask them, you know, kind of these broad questions. You can literally jump on the phone with Rob and say, hey, here's how much I make. Here's what I do. Here's what I'm looking to invest in. Rob, what are you most excited about during this 100-day challenge?
You know, what I'm most excited about is just seeing people getting in there and taking action, and not, you know, we love that they consume the content, they get fired up, they get energized, they come to the conference. I want to see people get in there and take action, because and the question that I've asked people when I've done this 100-day challenge with them is, what could you do if you just stopped dabbling? If you just stopped, you know, messing around with it, playing around, and what if you got serious and you went all in for 100 days? What could you accomplish? Could you get that book done? Mm-hmm. You know, could you start your business? Could you get that website up and running? Could you create that app? What could you do if you just put all of your effort, if you just left it all on the field for 100 days? And I am so excited to see what people come up with. I can't wait till we get started.
Yep, and I appreciate. Yeah, I'm geeked up. Rob is going to be here for you. Man, we have another super exciting guest who's going to be a part of this, and we'll make that announcement in the future. But 100 days.
Yeah, let me say this real quick. See, let me say this real quick, man. You know, because I try my hardest, especially on the podcast. You know, because I know people. You know, some people not feeling the whole aggressive ET. You know, the whole in your face. You know, so I try to reserve. You know, what I'm saying, myself a little bit. You know, but this is my baby, you know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to discipline, like, that's my lane, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just what Rob just said. Like, I understand, Rob, when you're trying to do something and when you're trying hard to do something, Rob, versus when you execute. You know what I'm saying? I want to just say that again. There's a difference when you're trying to do something, like you really trying. There's a difference when you're trying hard to do something. And there's a total difference when you're trying to execute. Like the results, the outcomes are totally, totally different. And so this is my lane right here. I'm not playing. We talking about going in 100 days, right? 100 days. And 100 days, and as Rob was talking about earlier, accountability. Like somebody in your face, in your space. And so if you felt like, you know, for real, all those plateau people, I hit a plateau. You know, you're talking about, I hit a glass ceiling. Look, I'm going to yank you through that plateau. I'm going to yank you through that glass ceiling. You have some cuts. You know, you have some cuts on your elbow, on your legs. Because I'm going to yank, if you tell me you're going to do it, I'm going to yank you through it. And I saw somebody recently who made a bet with somebody. And I get the concept. You know, they were betting and saying, like, you know, we're going to bet $500 that you lose weight. And I'm saying, yo, if you would have just come to me and said, E, I'll give you $100 to hold me accountable, I would have let you have the other four. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is you put up a bet, but you're the same person. And so you need, for 100 days, you're going to have individuals who are giants in their area. Like, you ain't going to get nobody that's going to get in your face like I'm going to get in your face. Our health dude going to get in your face. Rob going to get in your face. And we have intellect. We're competent in our area. See about to get in your face. And not only am I going to get in your face, I'm going to be right there with you. So for those of you who had to stay ready, you saw me after doing about 300-400 push-ups that day, get up there and knock out 100. Like, I got a push-up goal that I'm doing for 100 days. Because it's easy for me to do 100 here, 100 there, 200, but I'm going to do every single day. I got a goal. Every single day I'm going to put a certain amount of miles in walking in. Like, yo, I'm about to commit to, like, yo, E, you know you can do it, but I'm going to be real. It's just some stuff I haven't done 100 straight days. And I owe myself to walk into 2018 with the best physique that I've ever had, to be at the best level of my health that I've ever been at. So I'm not going to just tell you 100 days. I'm in it. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. She gonna tell you what, I think $1 a day. I'm putting up $2 a day because I got 2 challenges that I want to hold myself accountable to. So I'm telling y'all, this is about to be magical. You're about to get 100 days with multiple men and women who are going to push you, pull you. I'm gonna tell you this, see, as I get out of here. It was a guy who came up to me today. First time, I was just at the Florence School District. I've never done this in my life, where I was way more, I should say less dynamic, still dynamic, but more a developer, more a facilitator and a trainer. And a dude came up to me who'd been watching me for years, say, yo, E, bro, how'd you do it? I was like, how I do what? He's like, yo, E, no, bro, I ain't never seen you like this before, bro. Like, you amaze me. I was like, how? He was like, yo, the way you pull and prod and push all at the same. He like, yo, you know when to back up. You know when to push. You know when to pull. And I'm telling you, I'm bringing that same dude 100 days. I will push you when you need to be pushed. I'll pull you when you need to be pulled. And I'll pause when we need to pause so I can give you time to process what you need to process. But I'm telling you, it's going to be magical.
Hey,
Christmas come, it's going to be magical.
Hey, there was a lady I met this week too, and I want to challenge those people out there. Like, please listen to me. Don't wait until you had to hear something crazy to take this opportunity. There was a lady we met. We went to the Hip City Vegan joint. We were sitting eating at this little vegan restaurant, and the lady next to us, shout out to the vegan community, like they're just friendly, like they just talk to people. Like we just sitting there, she started talking, and she said she had, and I don't know the health jargon, but let's just say she was pre-diabetic. She was like right before she was about to get diabetic. And she said in a matter of weeks, she just changed her diet, and she said she went back to the doctor and it was gone. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. In a matter of weeks, it was gone. We talk about 100 days. This can change your life. Somebody could stop an addiction in this 100 days. This can change your life. We're not playing. Y'all just heard E talk about it. We're not playing.
Yeah, no, we are super pumped up about it, man. 100 days. You heard ET. It's $100 for 100 days, right? Those of you been listening to us talking, BU and kind of what we're doing and all those things, and you've been waiting for a good time to jump in. Right now is the time to jump in. That 100-day challenge, you heard us, man. You're going to get that book done, lose that weight, start on that journey towards building that company, and you are going to have the people around you need to hold you accountable. It was funny, after the conference in D.C., somebody came up to me and was like, man, I'm joining Breathe You. I want to be in on the 100-day challenge. I know what I need to do. He was like, it's not even an information thing. I got the skill set to do it. He said, I just don't have anybody to hold me accountable towards going after that goal. So for 100 straight days, he's doing 100 wake-up calls, affirmations. Like, we are literally going in every single day for this 100 days. And on Christmas morning, those of us who chose to participate in this challenge will wake up with that goal accomplished. We'll tell you guys next week what our particular goals are for the 100 days, and you hold us accountable. But we are super pumped, man, and we're going to the next level with this 100-day challenge. Carl, the website,
yes, sir.
100 Days with ET.
Yes, sir. 100, the number 100, 100dayswithet.com.
Yep, 100dayswithet.com. Go there right now. Sign up, man, for this program. It's going to be 100 days of just nonstop accountability and everything else. Other than that, Carl, I think, man, we can get up out of here, man. We have our guest. We don't want to tie up too much of his time. Rob, man, thanks a million for joining us.
Rob.
Thank you for being a part of the BU family and being a part of this 100-day challenge, man. We look forward to jumping on your calls every week, hearing what you have for us. You're going to be going into a lot more. We talked before the call, but you're going to be talking about new industries to make money in and how to kind of diversify your skill set to make money in these new industries, and just a ton of other stuff that we talked about that you're going to be hosting a weekly call to actually go over this stuff with people, man. And we're excited about that, man, and so grateful to you for joining us on the podcast today. We don't do a ton of guests on this podcast, but from time to time, man, I just know the individuals in my life who've been super helpful to me. I want to be able to expose them to our listeners as well. And so, Rob, let them know where they can reach you at, man, on social media, the email. People got questions. Of course, all of our BU people will be, already included in this challenge. And you guys know Rob because he's been on before. But where can the people find you?
Well, first of all, everybody really needs to be in there and Breathe You, and they can find me in the Financial Mastery course right inside Breathe University. So many modules in there. If people are saying, hey, I don't know where to start, that's where they need to start. Get right in there. Other than that, if they're not quite in yet, they can find me everywhere on social media at Rob Wilson TV, like television, at Rob Wilson TV. And this is, I don't know if this is risky or not, but these are your people, so we're going to share it. My email is rob@robwilson.tv. You can get to me directly. I'm ready. I read every email. I'm ready to answer your questions. And guys, I just want to say thank you again for having me on. I know you don't have a lot of guests, so this is a big deal, and I don't take it lightly, man. So thank you so much for having me.
We still don't have a guest, Rob. We still don't have a guest. We got family on the
That's right. That's right. Guest to our listeners, not to us.
That's right.
ET, man, what do we got? Real quick, on November 12th, LA. Shout out to everybody in LA. We coming to the West Coast. So shout out to the West Coast, man. We're going to go to a Laker game or something. Are the Lakers playing by then? Maybe we'll go check out the Lakers.
Hey, West Coast valets, all my West Coast valets, watch out that y'all don't get ET
get ready.
fired
If
up.
you're on the West Coast and you're running the valet, probably at the Western or wherever we're staying, get your butt ready, or we're going to throw you in the Gazelle of the Week. And somebody out there, give me a little tune for the Gazelle of the Week. I need a little jingle so we can play it when we give them the Gazelle of the Week. We have a little song that goes with them. But other than that, November 12th, of course, phenomenalcruise.com. You guys know we're going on the cruise. That's going to be crazy. We're going to have all kind of sessions on the cruise, man. Getting excited, pumped up about that. Anything else, Carl?
When is the cruise?
That's it. The cruise is March 4th.
The cruise is March 4th. So it's coming up sooner than later, Carl. And they still got time to pay for it. Get somebody, come on the cruise, man. We're going cruising and going to have a blast. Hip Hop Preacher. Oh, go leave us a review on iTunes, man. Shout out to everybody who's been going and leaving those reviews.
Yes,
we go through and read those reviews, guys. We read them and we appreciate them. All of you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Just click the podcast link, go right there, hit review, boom, leave us a review, man, so we can keep climbing them charts. You know, we're trying to be number one in your hearts and on the charts. So, we appreciate that. ET, get us out of here on that nugget of the day, man. E, I appreciate you. I know you had a crazy schedule this week. I appreciate you getting it in with us right after your teacher training, right before you go do the vegan thing, which I got some more to say about the vegan thing next week, too. I feel like I lost a friend, and we got to talk about it, because me and E used to go out to eat, and we used to be like the Smash Brothers. And now we're going out to eat, and E got tofu and all this kind of stuff, and I'm still doing my thing. So we're going to talk about that next week, E, because my feelings are hurt. I felt so bad. We were at the restaurant yesterday, and I was looking at all these fire things on the restaurant. He was down there ordering white rice, or what was it? Some kind of, was it white rice?
Tofu.
I don't know what you had down there. He wouldn't even eat the grits with me. I'm like, E, you put me on grits. I wasn't even a grit fan. He put me on grits. I'm eating grits by myself. Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. I'm talking about lonely, bro.
Hey,
we'll break that down next week. And am I tripping or when your friend go vegan? Do you feel like you lost a friend? E, get us out of here on that nugget of the day. By nugget, I mean vegan nugget.
I know. Hey,
not a chicken nugget.
Carl, this is all I want to say, Carl. All I want to say is just pray that the legions come off and we can go eat some chicken tomorrow.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what is the next
I'm
time?
ready for it. Come on home, baby. Hey, you remember when Pippen stuck out his shoe and had the Jordan symbol on the back and was like signaling come back? That's how I feel like I am with eating chicken.
I'm coming back, bro. I just need to get these legions off her brain, and then I'm coming right back. That's all I need to do.
We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting with open arms.
What's it? Eat vegan with a purpose.
Hey, so that's it, Carl. I like that, Carl.
Oh, man, put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah, I like that, Carl.
Well, so can we make chicken with a purpose? Is that it don't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that Wingstop for now. We'll let the commercial for now speak for our love. Yeah, we'll let the commercial speak for our love. So, hey, but for real, guys, I just wanted to say real quick, when we talk about this 100-day challenge, like for real, you literally have the opportunity, nobody's holding you back, to give yourself the gift of health. Are you hearing me? Like you heard what Carl said, it's in your power. It's in your possession to give yourself the gift of life, to give yourself the gift of health. And I know a young man who could cook, could smash, could throw down, was obese, ended up having a heart attack, and they were able to help him out. Then he had some surgery, he ended up getting cancer or something. And I remember afterwards, he could not change his diet to save his life. And we the same age, and this may be 2-3 years ago. I watched my man, leave his life way too soon with 2 daughters, because for real, he just couldn't discipline. You got 100 days. Give yourself the gift of health. Give yourself a gift of life. There's some of you who are addicted to drugs. Look, for real, you can join with us. You don't have to do it alone. It's the dream team, baby. Give yourself the gift of life. There are those of you out there, look, you've been broke for a long time. You've been poor for a long time. You've been losing financially for a long time. Hey, you have an opportunity to give yourself the gift of wealth. Like, it's in your possession. It's in your power. You can make this thing happen. There are those of you terrible relationships, whether it's your spouse, your children, for 100 days, go in with us. Think this thing through. Look, guys, you have the opportunity to get the gift of love. It's all yours. The gift of love, the gift of life, the gift of health, like the gift of freedom. Like, it's all yours. So it's your boy E.T. saying, for real, you owe you. Yep, you owe you. There's some gifts you shouldn't look for somebody else to give you. These are the gifts that you should give yourself. So join us, man. Come on, join us. All we do is win, y'all. You know that. We're not saying we perfect and things don't happen, but we telling you all we do is win, no matter what. So come join the winning team. Get on the winning team so you can go into 218. Oh, man, that rhymes, see? I like that. Get on the winning team. So in 2018, for real, all you doing is winning, no matter what. So if you're tired of losing and you're ready to win, come join this, I'm talking about phenomenal team. That's not E.T., not just CJ no more, not just Carl, not just Josh, not just the ETA family. We bringing the Robs on and the other people on. So, hey, y'all, join the winning team, y'all.
100dayswithET.com. We look forward to seeing you. We are starting this thing September 16th. And on Christmas morning, those of us who stepped up to take that challenge, man, our lives will be changed forever. We'll tell you next week what our goals are. Think about what yours are, but don't think about signing up. Go do it right now. 100 Days with ET. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity